At this point, I know that we are used to, like, even sunshiny Jeremy Taché coming in with traffic face because South Florida has cars stacked on top of cars. But even you're surprised, Chris, that your dad is late again, right? Like, even you're surprised that we continue to shame him and he continues to not be able to get here on time.
I want to be surprised, but I also want to be nicer to him. So I'm struggling today.
Okay, well, this is a good thing for you to be doing. I know you've gotten a lot of complaints on the Greg Cody Show featuring...
Did someone else do it? Billy, rip him for being late.
Featuring Greg Cody.
I've gone to the wrong person.
I mean, Greg's right about being late, so I don't know how I'm going to rip him, to be honest with you.
What are you, being positive today? You're being positive Billy Ted Lasso Tuesday because you're still paying off your punishment from last week?
Nah, it's my thing with Greg. No matter what he does, he's right. Come on.
Don't tell people that. You're going to let them see behind
was so
the scenes
hidden.
too much.
Our show didn't get the show there.
What are you guys doing? Because I want to play some of these AI videos for Greg and see how many of them he believes, including the one of George Washington hitting a grand slam in the World Series. Like, I want to see how many AI videos we can play for him before he realizes that those aren't real videos. Like, we could fool him pretty easily, right? When you guys are now getting fooled, I feel so much less alone now when you guys come in every day and you have to verify things 7 different ways because you guys are now getting fooled too by the internet. What'd you get fooled by this morning, Mike?
There was a man. Remember when you could trust a verified account on X? Right. What was wrong with that setup? Well, what was wrong with it? I don't get it. But there was it was like duplicate. It was stacking on fakedom on social media. NBA Centel posted a screen cap of a purported Draymond Green comment on LeBron's doing the thing again, where he wants everybody to talk about him. More on that in a second from Billy. But Draymond, a fake Draymond, left a comment on the account saying, "Oh, you're trading Bronny," and then a fake Bronny was like, "My dad's not trading for you," and I'm like, "Wow, this is fun." And everybody was fake. Everybody was fake, including NBA Centel.
So it started with a deep fake, and then you just went down the hole, and it was just an assortment of other fakes until you couldn't tell what was real.
Yeah, that's how they get people, when you truly believe something is plausible. Yeah. And, you get disappointed. Thankfully, you shake it off in about 30 seconds. I must admit, though, I wasn't fooled by George Washington hitting a walk-off grand slam.
I think the key with tricking my dad was you got to be subtle with it. If we try to position it like, hey, Greg, look, like we just got to be like, we're all looking at him.
You've got no shot. Okay, because these are all like dead people. Like, I think you'll catch on to Stephen Hawking.
You don't think we could get him with Stephen Hawking skateboarding?
I don't think we even need AI. I think we could put my brother in this seat and pretend like it was a grid of death punishment, and he would absolutely think it was me for a whole show.
We should do that. We should have your brother in for a full show because it looks like you in a disguise anyways.
Right.
No, but his brother goes out of his way the one time I met him to do things sartorially and with his hair and face to be someone who looks different than Jeremy.
Right. Which is why we pretend it's a costume punishment.
Yeah, it's a Beatles punishment for Jeremy, and
he
now
wouldn't
he just
let
looks
us.
like me.
We could do that one day. That should be one of the punishments.
We'll find a teacher work day.
Only for you. Make your brother come in here one day and absolutely. He doesn't talk like you, though, right? I think we can fool him anyway.
He knows how.
Okay. I think
just be quiet. It's a sight gag.
If you think you're family.
I'm ashamed to say that I called Amin and Carl yesterday and said we might think about a live stream for LeBron's retirement yesterday.
You mean Prime Day?
Yeah, right. He tricked me is what I'm saying. My point is I'm still getting fooled by the most basic things.
Football is back, Jack. Oh my, we've waited for so long. We're so damn excited that we put it in a song. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. Keep your fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air, when the chips are down and you throw a prayer, when your team is primed and on the hunt, it's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say. Football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control. And we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check down. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
On the television in here, I can see that Gary Bettman is sitting across from Mike Greenberg. And in a, general commissioner's interview, there are questions like, what has Sidney Crosby meant for the league? But the graphic I just saw, is still, and you tell me whether I'm entitled to be able to feel this way or not, is still disorienting to me when I see in type across the bottom of the screen, has Panthers dynasty been good for the NHL?
It's wild.
What the, I'm still confused by it. They got their rings. And they're perfect. They're the perfect team for today's America because they put stenciled on the ring, we apologize to no one.
I've been so selfish and just thinking about myself. I haven't really thought about that question. Has this been good for the league?
But they're just saying it matter of fact. Panthers dynasty, has it been good for the league is a secondary question to me. I'm still looking at Panthers dynasty and I'm like, what? Yeah, I guess.
Wild. It's pretty wild. I guess you could do the thing where are there teams where it could be better for the league? And I think that's absolutely the case.
If Edmonton had won the last 2 years?
No, I disagree. No, McDavid needing to win is better for the league than McDavid running the league.
If it's one of those old school traditional blue blood franchises like the New York Rangers and big market, it would be better. But I would say that over the course of this time, and it probably lines up with their new TV contracts, that ratings are up with the Panthers atop the sport and have been for some time.
I mean, you look at like Sunbelt teams winning the Stanley Cup, like Dallas in '99 and stuff like that. Like, yes, this is expansion. It's great for the league. They have 32 teams now. So, yes, this is absolutely great for the league.
I thought at first you were saying it's like if a Sunbelt team won the national championship. I was about to get very offended.
Middle Tennessee State.
So the Panthers got their rings, and the rings, everyone says they're beautiful. If you want to put that up on the screen, and please have ready the Cody is late again cam so that we can all see him walking in whenever he walks in. They put a rat. They put a rat on the ring. They put palm trees on the ring. And they put the Sam Bennett drunken quote of "We apologize to no one," which Sam Bennett didn't even realize that he was giving them their motto after they won the title. But evidently the people in management really liked the drunken debauchery of Sam Bennett going from place to place in South Florida, telling everyone for 3 drunken days that we apologize to no one.
I would like to take this time to apologize to absolutely no one. We're the double champs. We do what the we want. Let's go.
They left that part off the ring. Yeah. We do what the bleep we want.
Well,
it's too long.
It's only because it's not the Marlins rings of David Sampson that they don't have room for the rest of that quote on that. That "let's go" really does sound like the lonely "let's go" of Jeremy Taché as he tried to get us all fired up that one day. They sound similar, where Sam Bennett is trying to summon what I thought was real emotion there, but his "let's go" sounds as the same as the thespian child.
Let's go!
What's really cool about today, outside of another banner going up in that arena, and probably so if you followed the history of this franchise, is you looked at the offseason that this team had, and I think they're already dynastic because they won the Eastern Conference a year prior to their first cup. They've been in 3 straight cup finals. Everyone thought, they got a really good shot at three-peating here, as good a shot as anyone we've had in our lifetime. And you lose Matthew Tkachuk, arguably your second-best player, and you lose Sasha Barkov, arguably the best two-way player in hockey. and everyone still has excitement about this season. Let's see what we can do. Don't let us in the playoffs. Don't let us get into that tournament with our guys healthy. It's a different quest here. It's not, let's get home ice. You've seen this team do it anyway. You've seen them reach a cup final as the last seed. You've seen them do it with home ice. You've seen them do it with 0 home ice twice. I'm pumped for this season. I'm pumped to see the young guys try to ascend to those levels, and it's a really exciting time.
Let's go! It's such a good point because we've lost essentially our 2 best players. Outside, I mean, you could call Bob our best player, but and nobody's this team is expected to still kind of compete. And
it's because of their depth. They have
crazy.
an enormous amount of depth, but it's also, and tell me if you think I have this right. I'll defer to you, Roy, as the hockey historian around here. But generally speaking, when a team wins the title in that sport, because of how hard it is, because they're all giving their bodies to the cause in a way that's truly insane in the playoffs in terms of what they're playing through, if you have the medal to be a champion, it's really hard to take it from a champion. That generally speaking, the champion from the previous year doesn't fizzle out. You have to take it from them. It's not like the year that, correct me if I have this wrong, the Miami Heat win the championship, and then the next year with Shaq and Wade, they've cashed in all their chips, and you can see that it was so hard for them that that's all they had. But if you have the medal in this sport to get to a championship, you taste it and it gets greedy. Do I have that historically right or wrong?
Well, there hasn't been a three-peat since the Islanders did it. I mean,
I'm just talking about how champions get dethroned in that sport, that you have to knock off a champion the way Ohio State knocks off Miami, where you have to take it from them.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. I mean, the Penguins did it, the Lightning. It is absolutely difficult.
It is tough, but recently in the NHL, to Roy's point, you had that weird stretch where it seemed like the Blackhawks and the Kings were just alternating titles, and the Blackhawks were dynastic, but they had breaks in between their championship wins. I think recent history, it's really tough to make it to 3 straight cups. I don't think I was ever alive for the last time a team made 4 straight cups. This is, and the fact that it's happening in Sunrise, Florida, with what was, for most of its existence, arguably not just the worst franchise in hockey, the worst franchise top to bottom. I mean, financially, reach, on ice success, probably the worst franchise in sports for a decent stretch there. And now they're running the goddamn
I won't
thing.
say that as long as the Detroit Lions exist as something that was a 50-year embarrassment that made all its best players quit. But you're wearing a Pavel Bure shirt, and Pavel Bure's as close as they came to winning a playoff game, and they didn't. They got swept in the series when they were in the playoffs with what was the best. When they had McDavid, when the Panthers had McDavid, they didn't win a playoff game.
It's pretty crazy what Pavel Bure did in successive seasons when you consider how the rules have changed. Like if Pavel Bure was playing in today's rules, there's so many things that they did to neutralize Pavel Bure with the rule book, which is why I'm going to cape up for the cause. It's high time that they honor his jersey. He was the best goal scorer in the league when he was wearing that sweater, and he should probably have his jersey retired.
He was the only nationally relevant, because I wouldn't give it to Bobrovsky either. I wouldn't give it to Luongo either. He was the only nationally relevant player they ever had before this last championship team in their entire history for 30 years. But when you hear Sam Bennett, can you guys give me the second thing that people shout in sports when they're excited after Let's Go? Because Let's Go is the runaway Hall of Famer. Trevor Lawrence did it. He's shouting in the middle of Duval yesterday when he's enjoying that he's stumbling backward and stumbling forward and giving you the most Jags last drive you will ever see, except it usually ends with them failing. I'm going to go through the details of that last drive because it's the shittiest game-winning 60-yard drive you've ever seen for a 4-1 team, because they could have turned the ball over twice on that drive and at the beginning of the drive. This was great. I expected every part of that game last night to end with the Jags coughing it up at the end. When Patrick Mahomes goes down the field, has his first game in, I don't know, 3 years where he's really chucking the ball downfield. Trevor Lawrence starts a drive at his own 40, okay, because kickers. Starts the drive at his own 40 with 1:45 left. And then I look up, and there's a minute left, and he's run 6 yards one way and negative 3 yards the other way. And so now they're at the 43-yard line. They've gotten 3 yards on the first 45 seconds of that drive, but only because he throws a perfect ball to Brian Thomas in double coverage, and he throws another laser beam out because he can do that. Do they get into position? Do you want to put your headset on so you can hear the
Come
other?
on, stop
man.
eating
Like, what are you
bacon. What are you doing?
Why are you late again?
I hear him chewing my whole life. He's been the loudest chewer.
I thought you wanted to be nice.
Who eats bacon?
sorry.
Who eats bacon without grabbing a napkin so you don't have to wipe that on your jeans?
They're jeans. Not dress pants.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you use your jeans to wipe your hands of bacon juice?
Everybody does.
At Le Batard Show.
Did you say that was Patrick Mahomes' first game in 3 years doing that?
It was since the middle of 23. Has he thrown the ball down the field like that? He hasn't thrown the ball down the field like that. And we don't have to discuss whether or not they're the same offense or not. They have not been since the middle of 2023. That's statistical. I'm not making it up. It's not my opinion. It's not an opinion.
All right. Well, their offense has been back the last 2 weeks when they've had their wide receivers back, and it sure makes a difference.
It did make a difference last night, but they lost it late. And let me go through this so that you guys can answer my question on the second thing that athletes shout after let's go when they're excited, because the universal let's go is the accepted consensus of what you shout when you're really excited. Tom Brady named his whole slogan, his whole thing is let's effing go. But so this is, you want to guess, get me the stat of the day here. I'm going to get some dueling stats of the day here to do this.
Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day.
Stat of the day is presented by Amazon Prime Video. Thursday Night Football is on. The Philadelphia Eagles take on the New York Giants. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Prime Video.
I have some nominees for you guys. See if you have any that can knock these off or select one. I'm happy that Greg Cody is here. He is finally, a month later than the rest of us, bailed on the Miami Dolphins. Not sure why that's the one that made it happen, but that's the one that made it happen. He now knows that the season is over. He has now quit on the Miami Dolphins. Billy, if you want to, I'm happy to do schedule talk on the University of Miami.
What? Schedule talk?
If you want to, if you want to give me the University
Not
of Miami
one for schedule talk, but let me look it up if you'd like.
I'd like to know what the University of Miami's schedule is the rest of the season.
Sneaky tough.
We can do win-loss on the Miami Hurricane schedule. But the stat of the day that I'm nominating right now to see if you guys can do better than this is, go ahead and guess the last time the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens lost on the same weekend. Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, all three lose one weekend. Go ahead and guess when the last
2021.
time.
Yeah, maybe things got wonky around COVID. Yeah. We're going to go with COVID season.
1984.
2017.
Oh, wow.
Damn it, Billy.
It's 8 years since they all lost at the same time. The Ravens didn't exist in 84.
It was still in Cleveland, yeah.
So Billy was wrong on
Billy
that.
and I didn't exist in 84.
That is true.
You want to guess, Trevor Lawrence is now in his 5th season. You want to guess how many game-winning drives that is for Trevor Lawrence in his 5th season, what he did last night with less than 2 minutes left?
Well, he had one in the playoffs against the Chargers that cost me $80,000.
This
So I
includes
didn't forget that one.
this includes the postseason. This is fourth quarter and overtime.
9.
That's exactly right.
Good job, Greg. Did he know? That bacon really helped.
Yeah, of course he knew.
It's all bacon.
Of course he knew.
No, I didn't.
$80,000?
That's an educated guess.
Let's just get past that one.
So it's 2 a year basically you can get from Trevor Lawrence, and he is I have this right? He's the only quarterback in the league who flips his hair over his shoulder before taking the snap because he's got to flip it over.
Starting. Minshew's still around.
Does Minshew's go back that far
Yeah.
where it goes down below the shoulder pads?
Minshew could have a high and tight, and he's still going to do that move. It's muscle memory.
I didn't trust anything happening with Jacksonville late in that game because their quarterback is a galloping Clydesdale. And he does things like fumble on the goal line trying to get a sneak, and he does things like trip over his guard's foot at the 1 yard line so that he falls down. This is almost math. Do you know how big you have to be and clumsy to do what I'm about to say? Fall down from the 1 yard line on the 6 yard line, then on the 8 yard line again, and get up and run it in for a touchdown.
I understand we want to lead with the quarterbacks, but that game was won by Devin Lloyd. I mean, how good have the Chiefs been with Andy Reid as head coach in that red zone area, in that goal line area? They do this thing where they know the rule book and they have these legal pick plays, which should be outlawed, by the way. That first touchdown to Travis Kelce was, nonsense. And for Devin Lloyd to read Patrick Mahomes' mind, because you can't read eyes at that point. Everything's moving so quickly. To know what Patrick Mahomes is going to do there, step in front of the ball intended for Juju Smith-Schuster, and then on top of that, display the athleticism. And I think we're all at the point where we thought this guy's going to fumble the ball himself right before the goal line or get it punched out, right? To run 99 yards after that play. That is a season-changing type of play. That might be the difference between a home playoff game and not making the playoffs at all. That was certainly the difference in the game. Devin Lloyd, the last couple of weeks, I think he's been Defensive Player of the Month.
Yes.
An incredible story. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman did so well in highlighting the fact that he entered camp in a position battle. And he wasn't gifted that linebacker position, even though he was a first-round draft pick a couple of years ago. What he has done over the last month has been incredible.
He should probably be Defensive Player of the Year because you look at the impact he's had per next-gen stats. So Devin Lloyd's 99-yard pick six swung their win probability by 42 percentage points in that moment. That's with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. It says that Devin Lloyd has added a 95.4 percentage in win probability over his league-leading 4 interceptions. That's more than double the next closest defender. His impact has been unfathomably important for this team.
That's not just DPOY argument right there. That is an MVP argument.
But can we acknowledge also that it's random? Like, we can be impressed with it, and he should deserve these things, but it's like, do we really think
I understand it feels random, but, like, the plays that he has made specifically, that is film study. That is 99 yards. That's also athleticism. That is God-given talent. There ain't nothing random about that play.
He almost got caught from behind, too, on that one.
Yeah. You know who was chasing him? A guy with a 4.2 40. Yeah.
The thing that I'm not going to do, though, is say that won the game, even though I understand why you would say that, because at the end, Trevor Lawrence still had to win it. Patrick Mahomes did the thing that you expect Patrick Mahomes to do in that spot. And even with only 21 seconds left, if the Chiefs had been able to not get a penalty on their kickoff, they might have gotten into field goal range. What happened at the end of the game was this Jags drive that I believe makes them not serious people. And they're not to be trusted in a playoff game. They're going to make – I know that they're very talented. I will not dispute that the Jags are very talented. I do not trust them in any way. And I don't trust them because of how that final drive went, because I've seen them play with that quarterback that way 4 or 5 years. And here's what happened. It was wildly undisciplined. They get the ball at the 40, first of all, because Harrison Butker. Like, you cannot allow the other team to start at the 40 when your only job is to never get hit and just kick a football. Kick it in bounds. They start at the 40-yard line. As I said, with 1:45 left, after a minute, they've gained 3 yards because Trevor Lawrence has run to his right and run to his left. Now he's exhausted. He's breathing hard, and they have to use a timeout because he just keeps running right and left and not throwing the football. Then they get into a 3rd and 13 and get bailed out by an interference call on an interception. They also had another throw at the goal line that could have been intercepted. It was a dumb pass that he threw at the goal line that just way too dangerous a pass to be throwing in that situation. Also, hurry up offense, delay of game. It's just a total disaster. And then I thought on that 1-yard play, given what had happened earlier in the game, Mike, because you're saying pick six, but it's not like the Jags didn't fumble right on the goal line because Trevor Lawrence was holding the ball right over the goal line.
100%. You can make the argument that the Jags are much better than the Kansas City Chiefs when you look at the game flow. when you consider they had to come back, when you consider the huge fumble at the goal line, when you consider what you just outlined with that final drive, they were not making winning plays all that much outside of Devin Lloyd and Travis Hunter's incredible catch. It was a little confusing, especially when Kansas City is playing so well on offense.
Just think about what you said about the Chiefs on the goal line. The precision and the discipline that makes it when Patrick Mahomes throws a pick six that goes 99 yards, you guys all react as if a spaceship had landed on the field because it's something that you don't expect. Now pair that against how Trevor Lawrence did things from the 1 yard line. just yesterday, where I thought he was going to keep falling back until he was on his own goal line. And that play, even though he scored on it, wildly dangerous for him to be doing any of that in an out-of-control fashion where he's not paying attention necessarily to how he has the ball because he's in total panic.
Right, especially with an open receiver because the defender collapsed. It is hugely improbable. Not just the pick six, but the fact that, as we highlighted, Lloyd outran Tyquan Thornton, who runs a 4.275. Yeah. I don't understand what I saw last night. The Jags might be legitimately
They're really
good.
talented.
They might be legitimately good because they didn't play an A-plus game to beat this dynastic Kansas City Chiefs team.
They cannot be really good because they're going to do something to screw it up in a big moment because they're wildly undisciplined.
Jacksonville was gifted that game. I have seldom seen the championship-era Chiefs under Andy Reid look like they did last night. Dumb penalties throughout the game, bad special teams, defense completely losing that game. It was gifted to Jacksonville. I don't give much credit to the Jaguars for winning that game. I think Kansas City just took a big giant crap on national TV.
Duval.
Can you play the sound of their owner, Shad Khan, who's still trying to
this.
get over the Urban Meyer of it all? He's still trying to shake it.
This clip I want to play is actually from weeks ago, but he's so happy to have a winner.
This is what we envisioned in January, okay?
Yes, sir.
It's happening here in September. Gonna go on forever.
Forever. Talk to me in December. Anybody who thinks the Jaguars are a Super Bowl contender is high.
What?
You're high on dope.
They're very talented, Greg.
They're very talented. Their defense is hugely improved, but this is not a team that's going to scare anybody.
Greg, all right, let's talk this out. How would you grade their performance last night? Give it a letter grade.
I would give it a C+ to B.
All right.
He said A.
You would. He said A a couple times before he landed on C+. I agree. C+ seems fair. They just beat the Kansas City Chiefs with a C+ effort. If that team meets its ceiling, they can beat anyone in that conference.
Forever.
And they beat the Chiefs with the Chiefs playing a style of football that has evaded them for the better part of 2 years.
I mean, Pacheco was getting up every play, flexing. Pacheco was even back.
Yeah,
that
was
that,
good.
That was a Kansas City offensive performance that we've been longing to see. And the Jags mustered up a C+ effort and came back from multiple scores down and had to win in the game's final moments. Like that's impressive. I come away from that performance thinking the Jags are going to be a problem if they make it to the playoffs because they could throw up a Jake Browning type performance.
You guys
again.
say this though because when you talk about the fact that some of this stuff is random and not repeatable, what do you do with what I'm about to say? Because maybe their defense is hugely improved, maybe. Or maybe they had 9 takeaways in 17 games last year, and they've already got 14 this year. Like, you guys think that's real? You think you can keep taking the football away at a pace that would allow you to have 14 takeaways in 5 games that would skew all the results because that's an absurd number.
Right.
They've already got 5 more this year than they had all of last year.
Yeah, and that's a stat that usually correlates to winning. It doesn't always. The Dolphins have had 5 takeaways in the last 2 games and lost them both, or lost one of them. But in this case, Jacksonville, they can't. That's not repetitive. You can't have that pace all season.
Greg, to your point of things not being repetitive, not just the turnover stat, which definitely seems like that'll come down a bit, but remember how they had everybody fooled last year with their ability to win one-score games? They were 11-0 in one-score games last year, even though their numbers reflected something closer to the Giants. We thought, okay, well, that could be a skill when you have the GOAT under center. You see their record this season in one-score games?
Yeah, they lose them all.
Yeah.
because that largely isn't an ability, but Patrick Mahomes did what he had to do at the end of that game to win it. What do you make, though, of the fact that the Jags have 14 takeaways and no other team in the league has 10? Like it's just an enormous amount of turnovers that they've caused,
right.
and I don't think it's because their defense is that good.
I mean, but the plays that they're actually making, it doesn't seem like super fluky. It's not, Arizona Cardinals, Titans, football's bouncing off feet. I mean, they're making really good plays.
It's not Bryce Young just throwing the ball right for Bradley Chubb. Here you go. Here's a touchdown.
I mean, and they did play Jake Browning.
It's 14. Like when everyone's protecting the football. And they've got 14. Trevor Lawrence has 9 game-winning drives. They've got 14 turnovers in 5 games.
They lead in differential. They're +8, but you have teams like the Steelers are +7, the Saints are +5, the Chiefs are +4. These teams that are not having a lot of success in winning football games are also right near the top of the league in that differential. So while their turnover rate in terms of causing them might go down, you would hope if you're looking at this team, you're 4-1, that Trevor Lawrence's turnover rate could potentially go down as well. You could look at him as Liam Cohen and say, look at all the things we do well as a team. All you need to do is not mess it up.
When I say that Jacksonville was gifted that game, Kansas City's offense was really good, and it's getting better. They were good last night. Mahomes was good, and now they have Rashee Rice coming back next week. The issue is their defense was terrible last night. Special teams made errors. Penalties all over the field. Andy Reid had to be embarrassed by his team last night, not because they lost, but how they lost.
You must have had the Chiefs and -3.5. The way that you're talking, you had a terrible week picking games.
I had a
right?
terrible week, and there were 6 or 7 games.
You had the Chiefs,
including Miami and Kansas City. There were 6 or 7 teams that had double-digit leads, and all lost the game. And I think I was on the wrong side of all 6 or 7 of those games.
What did you end up going? You always want us to talk about your picks around here.
Only when I have a good week.
What did you end up having? Was it how bad a week was it?
It was 4-10.
4-10 against the spread?
No, straight up.
Woof.
It might have been better. I haven't figured it out yet. It probably was better against the spread, the way my weekend went. But 4-10
but this is
straight
why
up
you're
was my worst ever.
It affects your analysis. You do realize when you get emotional about your picks losing, you just called a game in which the Chiefs scored 28 points and Patrick Mahomes led what could have been the game-winning drive if Trevor Lawrence had just kept Trevor Lawrence in.
Yeah, and if the Kansas City defense had shown up for the game.
The thing about Trevor Lawrence, he threw 2 dots on that drive. Like the throw to Brian Thomas in double coverage. Brian Thomas is not open, and he's always open. That was the one play the Chiefs knew not to allow, but it couldn't be stopped. The way the ball was thrown, it was not possible to stop that, but they had it covered. Like that's not a failure of the Chiefs. That was a play being made on 3rd and 13, 35 yards down the field by the only guy on the Jags who was going to do that, and the Chiefs had – I remember this happened one time. To Dave Wanstead, who was under just enormous duress in Miami. And they go up to Buffalo, and they call – against an all-out blitz, the perfect screen pass at the perfect time that would have gone easily 80 yards. And Jay Fiedler just threw it to a defensive lineman. If he had just thrown it over, he just threw it to a defensive lineman. And so the perfect coaching call ended up in failure because, as Tyreek Hill and others say all the time, even if the play is garbage, it's our job to execute it. The play Jacksonville won with that throw to Brian Thomas was perfect. It couldn't be stopped by a champion, and they were ready for it. Like, he was in double coverage. It's not possible to cover that person with that throw with any 2 defensive backs in the league playing in that defensive posture.
Lawrence wasn't scared of McDuffie, and McDuffie was blanketing Thomas a couple of times, and Lawrence was still being aggressive. So I think Liam Cohen's always – I mean, he OC'd Baker before. He's one of these guys that – isn't so scared of turnovers. We mentioned how they have this ability to make up for their offensive deficiencies by causing turnovers on the defensive end. What I like about Liam Cohen is he tells his quarterbacks, go for it. We can live with certain turnovers, stretch the ball, take the chances, trust yourself.
And Travis Hunter, by the way, made an excellent catch on that other deep ball that T-Law threw.
It'll be the death of them playing that way. If everyone else in the league is playing the other way, if they're counting on we're going to strip more turnovers than our quarterback's going to make.
Yeah.
If that's what they're counting on formulaically, I don't trust their quarterback not to do boneheaded stuff in important moments.
And on the other side of the coin, Mahomes and that offense is back when they have like 3 sub-4-3 wide receivers because Jacksonville was playing 2 high safeties most of the night. And it didn't freaking matter. Mahomes was hunting the big plays. So for someone that misses that aspect, you had both offenses not really caring what the other team was going to do or how effective. They were still taking their chances. Prime NFL game yesterday.
T-Law?
Yeah, I've been calling Trevor Lawrence T-Law for a while. It hasn't
It seemed
caught
like you
on
were.
yet,
It seemed like you were searching for his name, and then you pulled T-Law out.
Well, I was searching for his nickname because it hasn't caught on. But it's a great nickname, and you got to admit it, and you know it, right?
I like him.
It's his fault it hasn't caught on. If he played better, it would.
I think so, Billy.
It's not you.
Yeah, I think Billy's nailed it right on the head. But that's one of the reasons why I say, despite the result last night, despite Jacksonville's 4-1 record and where Kansas City is, the Chiefs 100% are the bet to get back to the Super Bowl over Jacksonville.
I don't think that's true.
Who's
Greg.
taking that bet?
Greg,
The Chiefs or the Jaguars? Who will go to the Super Bowl?
Oh, I would make that bet and take Kansas City.
Well, you've been
without
wrong
question.
most famously this week with all of your picks, but
Bad
you've been
pick, bad
wrong.
week.
You've been wrong all year about the Dolphins, and now you have decided to shed your homer label. Billy, do you have Greg Cody's behind a paywall column back there? Can you read a couple of paragraphs to us from Greg Cody's column so that I can finally hear what it sounds like for Greg Cody? 4 weeks after the rest of us abandoning the season.
There's a lot here, so I'll go towards the middle. Quote, a starving man will beg, borrow, or steal for food. A Miami Dolphins fan should be able to relate this season when it comes to the hunger for winning, for something good to happen.
Wow. And surrounding that was the fact that you're up 17-0.
That's what I want to see
against a bad team.
I want to see that column in the first quarter you started writing.
What was that looking like in the first quarter? What was that? Since you have early deadlines,
right.
What had you written that you had to kill that makes you this mad at the Dolphins? Because all of your interests are self-interest.
Yeah, true.
And everything that you write is tinted with the emotions of how does this affect me?
Yeah, well, when they're up 17-0, I'm writing a Dolphins win column, obviously.
And I'm right. Look how good. See, 2 and 3, like I said.
No, but I am saying this. I'm saying 2 wins in a row, albeit against bad teams. I'm saying you've got the Chargers next, who just lost to the Giants. Then you've got the Browns and the Falcons after that.
You're pulling a Billy. You're just
2 and
schedule
3
looking.
All of a sudden doesn't look so bad for those of you out there who were setting bonfires and firing everybody at 0 and 3. You don't look so good right now. But all of that flipped. Because when you blow a 17-0 lead, I don't care if it's on the road, against a bad team, the way they blew it, Rico Dowdle is Walter Payton all of a sudden, only when he plays the Dolphins. It was a disgusting performance. I thought it was the worst performance of the season, and the opener in Indianapolis was so bad they had to fumigate the entire city by the stench the Dolphins left there, and Sunday was worse.
Are you doing your column now? You're performing.
The Payton thing was in there. The fumigating the city was in there. We went over the schedule.
So what are you doing?
The Dolphins next play a Chargers team that lost to the Giants a week ago. Then it's the Browns and Falcons. Optimism? Anybody?
Was the Rico
Maybe?
stuff in there? Rico?
Yeah,
Rico
it was
was
in there too.
So what are you doing? You're coming in here unprepared and late, and then you're just giving us recycled shit from your column?
The best of.
It's good. I mean, had I not told you guys wouldn't have known. You would have thought that he was just rolling with it.
Thank you very much, Billy.
So they had to fumigate the entire city,
Yes,
did they?
Because of the way the Dolphins played in the opener, and somehow they were worse on Sunday.
Billy, read some more of the column so I could get it fresh before he spills from his mouth as recycled material.
The Dolphins seemed up 17-0 to take the win for granted. The lack of killer instinct killed them. Bottom line is not good enough, McDaniel said. We are much better team than letting a 17-0 lead eviscerate. Are they, though? Evidently not.
I mean,
is eviscerate used correctly there?
No,
it's evaporate, isn't it?
Yeah, he was a little flamboyant with that reference, but people are really getting tired.
Did he get it wrong, or did you get it wrong?
No, that was a quote where he said.
In quotes, yeah.
Okay.
I think you got flamboyant wrong.
Did I? Okay.
You thought that was the one that is the reason the season is dead, or that's the one that made you angriest because it made you most wrong, made your pick most wrong, made you rewrite your column, and made you look like a fool?
Both.
I think there was more than both.
There was more than both. There was more than 2 options on the board, but it's all right.
All of them then. Whatever. Don't nitpick me.
Well, which
the Dolphin bandwagon is now in a ditch in flames. Thank God there was nobody in it. Even the driver jumped out the window before it careened off into the gully.
You should show up late more often.
Do you fire everybody? Do you fire? Because Zaslow every week is firing McDaniel.
Of course he is.
But what are you doing?
Well, listen, the second best coach on the team is the defensive coordinator who leads the worst defense in the history of football. So whenever anybody says, fire the coach, my thing is, who's going to replace him? I don't think there's any benefit to firing the coach during this season. What I think, and I've said it all along, is that if they don't make the playoffs, which now seems all but a certainty, he will be fired, and so will Chris Greer, and they will start cleaning house. And the
He's going to get fired. The question is whether it's before the end of the season or at the end of the season.
I would agree with you, except if they have the miracle finish. If they finish
8,
9-8
please
and
stop.
make a
just please
I'm
stop.
Just saying.
Just please don't
just an
stop
if.
saying
Yeah.
it. Just
No,
stop saying
okay,
it. Stop
fine,
just
fine.
stop saying it.
Okay.
Stop.
I'm just saying when you say
This is the new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Vegas legend, Carrot Top.
The man is a legend, and he's a legend in Vegas where it's hard to be a legend. I've seen him. His face is ID to get into all the big places. And he's also, though, he's a Florida guy as well, and I think he should be a Panther fan because he grew up in Boca. So I don't know where he is, but I believe he's bigger than Wayne Newton now. He's more Vegas than Wayne Newton, and I'm not joking when I say comedy legend for 40 bleeping years. 40 bleeping years and still doing it 4 times a night in Vegas. You, Carrot Top, Mr. Top, are rooting for who in this series?
You can't say 40 bleeping years. It just doesn't sound cool. You know, you got to say 40 years. But it's going to be really rough. This might be the hardest decision of my life, being from Boca. I think I performed at the Sunrise Musical Theater when I was young. But my roots, I mean, I'm in Vegas. They're listening to me right now. I'm here in Las Vegas, and it's tough. I got to be honest. I think my heart is a little more for Las Vegas.
What? No!
I know.
No!
I'm here every
You
night.
sell out. You sell out.
Are you cranking it before the game?
Yeah. You mean like drugs?
No, I mean the thing where you crank it and you get everybody hyped.
Hey, are you cranking it before? Yeah, man. No.
Have you ever cranked it?
Yes, they have. That's a personal question, but yes, I have cranked it. They gave me that twice. I've done it twice. And apparently Wayne Newton has beaten me by one crank. So
you gotta get
I was watching. I was at game 2, and I was watching.
I've got to catch up on crank. I got to catch up on a crank.
Wayne looks great.
Wayne looks like hell. What are you talking about? Be honest.
Come on, Karen Tom.
No.
That's not
No,
enough.
no. I love Wayne. Seriously.
Then you can't take out the legend. What's the matter with you? But you are. You are
I
more
love Wayne.
Vegas. No, you are more Vegas than him, though. You are.
No, he's Mr. Vegas. I'm Mrs. Vegas. He changed one night. We were doing a video, and it's really hot, right? I looked over, and Wayne Newton's hair was dripping. So I went over and I said, "It's dripping with what?" I said, I got to fix your hair. And he looked back at me, and I said, "It's just drip." It was like a little black,
Oh no.
dye was dripping. So I
That's not natural?
No, it's natural. It's just naturally dripping. It was naturally dripping.
Wait, I want to really.
I didn't let him sit there and drip. I thought I should probably step in.
But you have seen Hollywood melt away, vanity melt away, and so you had to laugh to yourself that symbol for Vegas excess, that his hair was dripping down his face.
Yeah, I know what to do. No one else was doing it. The makeup artist was like, I'm not touching it. I'm like, someone fix Wayne Newton's hair. So I took over the.
I mean, you don't hate the Panthers though, because they keep getting
no,
but their fans
I love the
keep
Panthers. Love the Panthers. Great Americans. No, I love. I don't know why I'm doing my Trump impression is the worst in the world, but I just go into it when you need to.
I think it's pretty good.
Oh, is it? Is it pretty good? Yeah, pretty good.
I was telling Sasha Michelle Millett that Carrot Top does a really good Donald Trump.
Always been a fan of you, Bob. Always been a fan.
I wish we could say the same.
Big fan. Oh, come on, we gotta work together. Well, I love this game. It's very exciting though. Coming to 2-0. I mean, it's really this town's going crazy, as you know.
And they're getting in the way.
Florida's probably going crazy too. Oh yeah. Are they talking that already?
Have you ever been to the arena? Because it's kind of where you went to community college. It's like in the Everglades.
I was curious as to where it was because I said I lived in Florida my entire life. I don't think I've been to that area very often. When I went to Boca, I was in Boca. I guess it's not too far from there.
It's right next to Sawgrass Mills. You ever been to Sawgrass Mills?
Sawgrass Mills, man, it's been a while. But they apparently have a hockey team down there, so that's good.
This is a good show.
How do we get Gustav Forsling going?
What's that?
How do we get Brandon Montour going?
Like anything else, they're gonna have to get these guys.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Diana Rossini will be here momentarily. I see that Steve Sarkisian of Texas says, let's take the 135 other teams in college football and see how they would do if they had to go to Ohio State and the Swamp. And I saw South Florida win at the Swamp this year. Like, what is he talking about? You have the Heisman favorite with the quarterback chromosome as your quarterback, and you've got 2 losses, and you're not allowed to say that the Swamp is a difficult place to play. It used to be, and I know that defense is good, but South Florida won there this year, and Miami won there last year, in a game that wasn't particularly close. Wasn't close.
Yeah, the mystique of the Swamp is pretty shaky right now. That's no excuse for losing if you're Texas.
Texas is not special, and I thought they were going to be special.
It's stunning.
Same with Arch Manning.
Stunning what's happened to that offensive line. I mean, it's pretty much the same defensive line that went up against Miami that was thoroughly dominated, and there was pressure coming up the middle on the edges. Arch Manning, I know that people are having a go at him because it hasn't been the type of season. I do think that it's probably a little hyperbolic. I think it's gotten to the point where we were glazing him a little too much at the start of the season when he hasn't really done much, and now I think people are crushing the kid. That was not Arch Manning's fault on Saturday. Yeah, he missed a couple of throws. He was also under crazy duress the entire time. That is just flatly confusing what has happened to that Texas offensive line when you consider the resources they have usually committed to that.
Well, I will tell you what's more confusing than that to me, though, is to see a player by such consensus step on a field without much proof that he's good and everyone expects him to win the Heisman. Like, I have seen that very infrequently in my life, given how hard it is to play that position, how hard it is to learn that position, and how rare the Josh Rosens and the Jameis Winstons are that come come in and are immediately great at that position. To have Coach O say he's the closest thing I've seen to Joe Burrow, and an assortment of other people say that he was going to go into Ohio State and simply be dominant the moment he took the field when he couldn't win the job from Ewers. Like, if he was that special, he would have won the job. That Sarkisian wouldn't have been so stubborn to stay with his veteran starter if something was being shown to him. I remember, this goes so far back, but these people who are expert at this, they really can see it faster than we can. So when Jimmy Johnson comes in and has Jack Del Rio as his middle linebacker, veteran Jack Del Rio, and Zach Thomas comes in as a 5th-round pick, he sees it and immediately cuts Jack Del Rio. I know Quentin Ewers was something special at Texas and was a very good college quarterback, but if Arch Manning was what everyone told me he was, he would have been that from day one, and I just never expect that from a college quarterback. I never expect a college quarterback in his first game when Ken Dorsey's the one who says to us, no, the first time I came out at Washington, I could feel the urine going down my leg. I was scared because of the size of what was in front of me. Ohio State, I'll give Sarkisian. I won't give him Florida.
No, but this is the great con of the SEC. If they beat a number 6 ranked Oklahoma, who's playing their backup quarterback in Red River, they'll be back into the teens in the ranking, and there's going to be multiple 3-loss teams that either come from the Big Ten or the SEC. Everyone's writing off Penn State. Penn State finds a way to beat Ohio State. They're right back firmly entrenched in the playoffs. It's so freaking frustrating if you're from the other conferences.
And let's say Arch Manning is going to be good. He needs to grow into that job. He needs to grow into the expectations. He's a victim right now of too much hype too soon, and he's a victim of the Manning name. He's going to catch up to all that.
I don't think so.
I do.
I think he's going to be better. He's not going to be what it is we've been promised. He's going to be, yes, he's going to be better because he can't be a great deal worse, and the expectations couldn't have been more unreasonable.
Right.
But to expect him to simply be a Manning, for example, just the odds are so stacked against him having even Eli's career in the pros because of how hard that is, that the hyperventilation about the coverage of him seems in retrospect to be really foolhardy. Diana Rossini, as I said, the senior NFL insider for The Athletic. She's the host of the Scoop City podcast. Let's begin with Greg Cody's topic du jour here. Mike McDaniel, are there any advantages, Diana, any whatsoever, in firing a coach early so the next regime could get a head start in the next 5, 6, 7 games to get a head start on next season? Any advantages whatsoever firing a coach in season?
Yeah, good morning. Hi, guys. No, I don't really think at this time of year you're going to get a leg up on it. Guess what's probably happening? They're already having those conversations. They probably have had them before in terms of what direction they want to take this franchise in next if they decide to move on from Mike. They know it's not working. We've been talking about this for weeks now. So, look, who are you going to be looking at right now, even on staff, to step in as interim? I know Anthony Weaver's name has been thrown around a lot. He's had a lot of support and love, even around the league, in terms of head coaching opportunities over the last few seasons. So we'll see if they do make that switch, if Weaver will take over. But you take a look at some of the defense too, right? You can make an argument of, well, is there someone else maybe? Because it's not like their defense is crushing at this point. But to answer your question, no, I don't think that you get any leg up right now firing Mike McDaniel. Like, how? What are you going to do? Just have more conversations? People back channel anyways.
So what's more likely? Stephen Ross back channeling about what he plans to do with the direction of the franchise, or Stephen Ross having these discussions about Mike McDaniel's future with embattled general manager Chris Grier?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the thing I'm going to be paying close attention to. Is this going to be a move where they're both out, right? Chris Grier's been there a long time. I think that there are definitely conversations going down right now about their futures, both of them. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. But in terms of the direction of the Miami Dolphins, if there's any thought about moving on from these guys, most organizations begin that process pretty early. It's not like they're waking up today going, you know what we should do? We should fire these guys and let's start putting together a list of people we want. They've been doing that.
I want to get to all of these stats of the day. So give me the stat of the day music again, please.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day.
I think I'm going to shock you guys with this one, okay? The third worst team in the sport right now, having the most number of 3-and-outs, the third worst is Cincinnati. Obviously a bad team without Joe Burrow. The second worst is Tennessee. We all know that's a bad team. You want to guess who's first? Most 3-and-outs in the league, and I'm going to do one better. Most 3-and-outs by any team since 2005. 20 years. Your champion Eagles. What do you do with that, Diana?
That was coming. Yeah, so I think this is layered. First, just looking at it, this isn't even just conversations I've had. That's a separate conversation. They have an identity problem, right? It's like they have an identity crisis of what they want to be. Are they run first? Are they a passing team? Do they trust Jalen to throw the ball? This is a team that has had so much success because they know what they are. And last year we saw them do that, especially after the bye. They figured it out. And now we're seeing a team that just resembles a little bit more 2023 to me, right? Right before Kellen Moore was there, where you just weren't sure what they wanted to do. This roster is an all-star cast. There is no reason why they should be having all these problems. It was very obvious to all of us, right, that they've relied on Saquon Barkley. They've relied on this fantastic offensive line and the ground game. And it's been the same thing every single time they've won games, which was 20 out of the last 21, right? Run, off schedule, pass, tush push, right? It's like the same formula, but it works. Then you have two very high paid receivers in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, who are obviously frustrated. They're not just frustrated because they're not getting touchdowns. They're frustrated in how they're being used in this offense collectively. And I think this is a point where, Nick Sirianni took a lot of heat over the last few seasons from some of his own self-inflicted actions on the sideline to just a lot of questions about whether or not he's a good coach. Well, he goes out and wins the Super Bowl last year. It's hard to criticize, right? He's at the top of the mountain. I think this is his biggest challenge now. This is the worst the offense has ever looked under Nick Sirianni. And I know they have a new offensive coordinator this year in Kevin Patullo, but I think this is a good opportunity for Sirianni to step in and be like, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to win games. We're going to play into our strengths, and I will manage the things I need to manage for this team to really find itself at this point. I'm not panicked about the Eagles. I'm just surprised they look this bad with the roster they built.
I'm going to say it again just so that you know. It's 47% of their drives are 3-and-out. So half of their drives are 3-and-out, and no one's been that bad in 20 years in the sport. So I asked the question of the audience on the poll at Le Batard Show, is it possible for a team that has won 20 of 22 games to have an identity crisis? Because I didn't think that was possible.
Right. We are talking about a 4-1 team.
It is wild how negative this sounds.
I mean, it's 47.2% of their drives go 3-and-out.
And what's amazing is they have a great running back and ostensibly a great offensive line.
And great everything on offense. Their 11 best players pushed around the Chiefs defense last year in the Super Bowl. Like, they have all-stars all over the place. It doesn't look right. It's winning, but I think it's fair. What she just said about Sirianni, I still don't know if he's a good coach. I know he won the championship. I still don't know.
45 rushing yards in this game against the Broncos. That was the fewest they had since 2018. Why change what you're doing? And I don't think it's that deep for us to have a conversation about why they changed it. Because they have receivers who are frustrated. Their best player on offense is mad he's not getting the ball. So I think they just auto-corrected a little too much. But to me, it's almost as if winning camouflages the problems, and yet we're seeing this team have success, but we see the problems, right? There's obviously a trust issue they have with their quarterback. there's obviously a trust issue they have with their offensive coordinator. Everything is disjointed. They're not in sync. And I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how they get to, this isn't going to be one of these team meeting things. I really think this is on Nick Sirianni to grab hold of it and make adjustments and figure out what they want to be.
Dana,
and they've got a good opportunity against the Giants, right? They play in a few days here. And look, the Giants defense, when they're playing well, will be a problem. But I think this is a get-right game for the Eagles for sure.
Dana, I feel like a lot of people forgot about this story just because of what happened with Mark Sanchez over the weekend. But can you walk us through your day where you're doing your job, you're doing reporting, you're kind of checking in with players and teams or whatever, and you're like, hey, Mac Jones, how's it going? Ready to go? And he's like, I found a dead body today. And then you're just like, okay. And then he goes out and he has a great game. Like, what happened there?
I'm so glad you asked me this because without a doubt, that was the most bizarre story I'd ever covered, but also had a dig on. So I got a tip.
Not physically dig, right?
No, the body was, I guess, in sight.
It was in Marina Del Rey.
I also guess she wasn't on the Mark Sanchez
helped?
beat.
Yeah. Which, it's funny. You get so many random messages in your DMs and I don't always check them because they're always just, show us your toes or whatever. They're never really good. But someone in Indy tipped me off on Saturday morning on the Mark Sanchez thing. I went back and saw it and I was like, oh my gosh. So they had everything. I'm like, who is this person? And now I can't find their account. It's so random. But no, I woke up on Friday morning and someone had messaged me that all it said was Mac Jones saw a dead body floating in a pool. And I'm like, what? What? I don't even know what to do with this. So the story just evolved all day long. By the way, this is in the middle of 15 other major stories happening around football because Fridays, everyone's a little bit more relaxed. Everyone likes to talk more. So, I'm digging on all this other stuff, yet I'm trying to figure out what happened. So when I was finally able to nail it down and dealt with Marina Del Rey police, which is another story. So essentially what happened was Mac Jones started his Thursday morning in Marina Del Rey. He has the game against the Rams that night. He's out on his balcony doing some meditation, something that he does. It's part of his routine. And he looks out at the water where all the boats are. And he sees a dead body. He did not know it was dead at the time, but figured it out pretty quickly. Someone else had called the police at that point. So then there was all this police activity. And the San Francisco 49ers are getting ready to go to their game. So they're getting on the bus. And the way it was told to me was the coroner's van is headed down to go get the body. And the buses are in the way. And everyone's just like, this is weird. This whole thing is bizarre. And when I spoke to the Marina Del Rey police, and I apologize, I'm not laughing. I don't know who this person is that passed away. And the Marina Del Rey didn't really know about it either. They were like, wait, so you're telling us there was a homicide and we don't know about it? I'm like, well, let's just go through the logs. Let's go through every single thing reported.
You are smiling while you tell the story. You tell us you don't mean to laugh at this, but you need to keep talking about this while covering the smile on your face.
Okay.
I imagine that's how Mac Jones called the police. So he calls there's a dead body.
I'm imagining him in a zen with his eyes closed and he just slowly opens them and he's like, goo!
I'm laughing because the ridiculousness it was of how you guys always mock my resilience on the show and my relentlessness to get a story. And I get it. I make fun of myself as well. I was obsessed with getting this story and I was getting so many different versions of it that I couldn't write it because it was wrong. I needed somebody who knew what happened and saw it themselves to tell me the truth. And I needed the police to help me. Yet the police were like, Yeah, there's a parking ticket we heard around that area. I'm like, no, a body. I need a body. Did anyone report a body? Your homicide unit was seen there. And it was just a lot of communication. And the person that was helping me.
You are still smiling maniacally. Like you still have an enormous smile on your face.
I don't mean to be laughing. I'm laughing because I wish you could have heard. Like, just imagine this maniac sports reporter calling you, being like, give me all your paperwork. Tell me everything that happened. And this guy's like, I don't understand why you care so much. You're a sports reporter. Like, why do you care about a body?
At that point, you became a suspect.
That sounds like a cover-up, if you ask me.
Correct. He was asking me so many questions about this. And so he was like, but I thought Brock Purdy was hurt. I'm like, no, it was Mac Jones. Brock is hurt. Like, he was asking me all of these questions about the game. And I'm like, and he's like, well, when are they playing? I'm like, they played already. He won last night. He saw the dead body. He saw the dead body and he got on the bus and he went and he won the game. He's like, that's a good story. I'm like, I know. That's why I'm calling you.
You should write that.
Like, so it's, Dan, you're obviously a journalist. You know how this works. You're like, I can't believe my column is the lead story of my column right now is not the Eagles. It's that Mac Jones saw a dead body. Like, to me, like, that was just wild. But Billy, you're right. Like, nobody cared. And look, I get it. Like, the only details I had was that he saw a dead body, and I'm sure we'll hear more. And we don't even know who this person is. We don't know if he was murdered. We don't know if he drowned. We don't know. But yeah, that's a wild day for a guy that went out there and won the game after eating 3 bananas and cramping and all the other things that go with playing the position, and getting a really big win.
So you said that someone also DM'd you the Mark Sanchez stuff, but I guess you didn't see it until after. You weren't sure if it was real or not. Like, what's the furthest down a path of confirming a story that you've gone to just realize, like, oh, this was total bullshit? Like, I've just gone down a wild goose chase for no reason.
Yeah. So remember when the Packers, there were rumors that they were going to trade Aaron Rodgers. And there was this guy who was obsessed with messaging media. And he did a good job, to his credit, of almost carrying himself and talking like he was somebody close to Aaron Rodgers. And he was engaging with everybody. And the only reason why I knew is because I would call the Packers. I'm like, hey, I'm hearing this. Like, you're like the 5th reporter to call us about this. Please do not listen to Bobby Smith 1212 dumpster fire or whatever his handle was. So I'd say just, I don't like to engage with like people that give you tips, but sometimes they know. Sometimes people see people at airports, or one of my best sources years ago was a janitor, which I know is always a joke. Like, whenever I break a story, there's always someone that tweets like, oh, did you hear that from the janitor? And it's one time I'm like, yeah, actually. Like, that was one. And when I say it's a story from them, I don't mean the whole story. I mean just, hey, heads up. I saw this or I heard this. I don't know if it's anything. Then you dig. But in terms of like a person associated with the team or a story, I'd say the janitor one years ago, and I almost said the city.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do the janitors always know, yes or no? And let's speed her up so we can get as much football information as we can. Which stat is more surprising to you? That one that I gave you about the Eagles, 47% of their drives are 3 and out, worst since 2005, or more than 20% of their drives, 0 or negative yards? More than 20% of their drives this season, the defending champions have 0 or negative yards. Which one's more shocking to you, Greg Cody?
The first one, the Eagles having that rate of 3 and out.
I caught you off guard. You weren't ready for that question. You thought I was asking Diana, right?
Well, sort of, but I audible. That's what I do. I'm quick on my feet.
Diana, you were at the Philadelphia game, were you not?
Sorry, I crossed my mind before. I just wanted to ask Greg, outside of a funeral and any personal family situations, have you ever seen a dead body?
I don't know that I have. No. I don't know that
Out in
I
the
have.
wild? How many of us have ever seen a dead body out in the wild?
I interned at a news station before I was in sports, and it was like the news desk, and one of the camera guys would take me along on some of the dumb things. And then third or fourth day on the internship, we go and it's side of the express or whatever. He's like, "Want to go see a dead body?" And I was like, "No, I do not want to go see a dead body." He's like, "Come on, it'll be your first. You want to go see a dead body?"
Was he smiling like Diana?
It was crazy. He's like, "Let's go." And I was like, "They're not going to just let us go over to that body." He's like, "Yeah, we're the media. You want to go see one?" I'm like, "No, I don't."
Put it on the poll. Have you ever seen a dead body in the wild?
I did see one at an NCAA tournament game. Lefty.
I think most people would say no to that. The Patriots, are they for real?
Yeah, I don't think they're for real where we're talking Super Bowl. I think that they have had a really big makeover.
Devin Lloyd has more interceptions than 22 NFL teams. Is that recreatable?
No.
Are turnovers random? The Jaguars have caused 14 this year in 5 games. No other team has 10.
No, not random.
Do you believe in the Broncos?
I do. I believe in their pettiness, too, with Sean Payton and the Broncos celebrating in the locker room with a smoke machine and listening to the Rocky soundtrack and Meek Mill and getting the bus and considering maybe driving around the city of Philadelphia to just celebrate. But yeah, I think, look, there's been a lot of excitement about them. And I think just the fact that they were able to come into the link and take down the defending Super Bowl champs tells you that they believe they can beat anyone now.
How hurt is J.J. McCarthy, and what has to happen if he's healthy for Carson Wentz to lose that job?
Yeah, high ankle sprain. I'd say probably. So they're on a bye week. They're going to try to get him out there, but I was told that they're going to be very patient with this and make sure he's 100%. Kevin O'Connell has been very open about it. He wants his quarterback to have a full week of practice. So this won't be one of those situations where Carson practices Wednesday, Thursday, JJ's back Friday, JJ starts Sunday. It's got to be a full week. Look, for everything that I've been told is they still believe in JJ McCarthy. It's his job. They just want him to get healthy.
What makes the Ravens defense so epically bad?
They lost their identity. By the way, you asked me that question, and I can tell you that the people in that building are asking themselves the same question, right? Because is it scheme? I don't know. Do they need better players? Probably.
They're
right?
hurt, but they're hurt, Diana. It's $160 million of payroll that's not playing.
I hear that, and I understand it, but we've seen it how many times teams playing with injuries. Remember that Titans team one year? I think they had the record number of injured players in the game, and then they went out and won. The great teams figure it out. The great teams with great quarterbacks, when they're healthy, figure it out. I would be a lot less concerned about the injuries with the Baltimore Ravens if Lamar Jackson wasn't on the injury list. He's the centerpiece of that team, and without him, you get what you saw.
Can you tell us why or if Josh Allen is still mad at you?
Probably.
You can tell us, or probably he's still mad at you?
I don't know. I haven't tried. I've avoided. I'm an avoider when I lie to a MVP caliber quarterback and tell him I voted for him.
Oh, what happened there? So he asked if you voted for him and you voted for Lamar and you told him that you voted for him and he hasn't forgiven you?
Okay, so I just told this story to Stu. I did not know that the votes last year were public. So we vote for MVP, Coach of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, all that stuff. And while that's happening, there's some campaigning. There is, whether people want to know that or not, right? So you've got agents and teams and coaches and everyone calling and saying, who you vote for, who you vote for. I don't like to make people uncomfortable, so I tell everybody I vote for them.
Well, but why during the Eagles tailgate did you tell all of the Eagles fans that their teams got problems? Like, if you are somebody who lies to the face of Josh Allen, why'd you tell Eagles tailgaters of all people the truth?
I'm sitting there. So I experienced this Sunday tailgate. I never get to do it. I had to go swing by my in-laws, say hello to them. You know, all their buddies are there, and they're like, "Hey, so tell us what's really going on. We're gonna be fine, right?" And I guess I just wasn't thinking. I just was like, "Well, I have concerns." Like, and this was before the game. You know, they're like, "What's your gut?" I'm like, "Broncos." They're like, "What?" Right? So it's just like, I learned my lesson. Do not tell fans that their teams are in trouble. Everyone is winning. Like if I could redo my career, I would only report that teams are amazing because that's the only time fan bases support you and like you. Like my Twitter would be all like puppies and rainbows.
She is the senior NFL insider for The Athletic. She's the host of the Scoop City podcast. She's an NFL expert. What do you think Gronk is saying here?
Mika Egbegbo.
Oh, Mika, a big boo.
Mika Egbegbo.
Where did he get the...
Mika Egbegbo.
Did anyone stop him? Did anyone correct him?
Yeah, they did.
You know, the producers in his ear just like trying to get it right. It's hard. What's the hardest thing you've ever had to say on the air?
Antetokounmpo was hard for me at the beginning, obviously. See you later, Diane. I know you have to get out of here. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Antetokounmpo is in the news these days.
Transition. That was a professional move there.
Antetokounmpo and LeBron both find themselves in the news today. It was a weird story from Shams in that the Bucks called the Knicks to gauge interest, but then the conversation died, and that the Knicks are the only team that Antetokounmpo has shown any interest in. But I would imagine it would require the entire Knicks roster to go back there, and I'd do it. I mean, I'd give anything that Milwaukee wants. I'd give it to them and start over that matches up on salary cap.
Yeah, Shams surprised everybody here. The two teams apparently discussed this a little back and forth there, and I think obviously the interesting part was there was just one team, and we've seen recently the NBA has kind of gotten away from that. But Antetokounmpo said, "I only want the Knicks," and it seemed as though that the Bucks were willing to at least entertain this wish from their superstar. I thought we weren't doing that anymore. That also, breaks the heart of a lot of fan bases out there that thought that they could get in this game.
If you're the Knicks, though, you start the game at anyone you want except Brunson, right?
Nope. Anyone you want.
But they start there. If you're the Knicks, you're not just saying, here's Brunson.
Right. I agree with you.
You're trying to play that game of...
You try to pair, and I think the assumption would be from even Milwaukee. Yeah, you make that ask for Brunson, but I would hope that the intention would be to pair the two.
I'd give away anything for a top 5 player in the league who changes my fortunes no matter how I put around him. And I understand that Milwaukee doesn't win the championship every year, but Brunson...
Well, you're a terrible negotiator. That's how you start.
Brunson, I want the player.
Take more.
No, you start, you're like, you know what? We're really unwilling to get rid of Mitchell Robinson. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, why? What do you know? I'm like, well, we can't part with him. I'm like, well, hold on a second. Well, if you can't get we want him now.
Yeah, don't ask for Josh Hart. That's a no.
Weren't the Heat involved with speculation
stop with this.
about Giannis? No.
I mean, no, apparently not. Yes, Zaslow had that report in our mind, what we do often, and I think we got to wrap our brains around this guy doing it ain't happening anymore.
Wait a minute. So Zaslow, the journalist, had an erroneous report.
The Miami Heat did indeed hear from all of the interested parties in possible acquisition, and everyone's got to do their planning there. The reason that this story is interesting is because it's twofold, I would say. One, it's the first indication we've gotten from a superstar who has chosen very carefully how it is that he's received by the American people. He is the only one who's been able to cross the language barrier and feel known by people in a way that's more than Luka, more than Jokic, really an international superstar who is transcended because we feel like in English he's trying to meet us where we are. So this is the first indication.
Not Dirk?
Okay, fair enough. Dirk as well. But Antetokounmpo among this batch of people that are presently playing, vying for the face of the league after LeBron. We'll get to him in a second. But Antetokounmpo, the reason this is newsworthy is because, A, Milwaukee has made a call suggesting that, yes, he is available, and that call was so brief because the Knicks are not serious people. You're not going to get this person. You're not going to get this person by being finicky about what you're offering. You have to show them your entire roster. There's only 2 or 3 teams in the league who would say no to Giannis because I'm not giving up Jokic for him. It's literally 2 or 3. I'm not giving up Wembanyama for him. Go ahead and name all the others.
Shea.
But if there's only one team in contention, then why give them whatever they want? You have some leverage there.
They're not in contention, though, if they're not willing to give up something.
But they can be.
But not with Mitchell Robinson and Miles Turner
you can't
as
get
the
Mitchell
trade
Robinson.
pieces.
7 future first
Can't
rounds?
get him.
No?
They don't have that. They don't
this-
have anything.
Dan, but isn't this also part of that chase? Having it leak out to Shams and have the conjecture start.
It's a dance.
I mean, you say that they're not in the race. To me, from where I'm looking, they're the only team in the race.
No, it's got to be players is what I'm saying. They've got 26, 28. They've got 30, 32, a protected Wizards pick at 26. They don't have good picks to give, so you have to give players. And you're not going to get this person for your discards. That's not how that's going to happen. Of course, Jalen Brunson's their most valuable piece. And he's on a great contract. They got him at value, which has to be Pablo Torres next finds out. Like they got Brunson's like the only guy in the league willing to take a super discount in order to stay someplace.
They can have Cat.
In basketball, though, sometimes you do get these players for nothing.
Everybody seems
Cat, Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson. Who else we got here? Come on, we can make
not
a
Mitchell.
the superstars tend to get their way, except for when Miami's in the mix.
Billy, not this player. Like, not this player. This player is a top 5 franchise changer the moment that he steps into your uniform. There are only 5 of these in the entire league.
Within Shams' article, it is kind of important to note that the only call that it says here, it says the Bucks picked up the Knicks call on Antetokounmpo. This was after a conversation they had with Giannis where he expressed his frustration that he didn't feel like the Bucks were quite as close to championship contention as they could be at the beginning of the summer. They made moves independent of the potential moving of him that were meant to solidify the roster. And the Bucks insisted to the Knicks they did not plan to move on to Antetokounmpo, and those in Milwaukee believe New York was never really serious about the conversations because they didn't think Milwaukee would ultimately move him. This is just really, if we want to look at where this is situated, this offseason he'll have 1 year left on his deal. This is just sort of like planting the seed of, okay, New York should be one of those teams and putting pressure on Milwaukee to make the aggressive moves when it comes down to it, whether it be at the deadline or this offseason, to try to keep him happy.
It sounds like Milwaukee's playing both sides here. If you're accepting calls about Antetokounmpo, you're shopping them. Like
you have to take calls. You have to listen.
That doesn't
not if it's that player.
Well, they
you
only
don't have to. No,
they only took one call, which makes me think like that's not literal, right? Like it's not like okay, the Heat call and then the phone just rings, and at the end, like they call the Heat back and be like, just so you know, that was us not taking your call because you're not in contention.
I'm picturing it like Moneyball, where it's an assistant yelling into the GM. We have the Bucks, we have the Lakers on the line. Nope.
And you say we're not taking that call, or do you set up a call like, hey, we'd like to call today at 2:00, and then the Heat call, and then it rings and they go, oh,
the Hornets are calling. We have the Hornets on the line.
I don't think anybody's taking any calls these days. All of us are using our phones as computers. Who the hell takes calls anymore? To me, the news is Shams reporting that the Bucks took a call. It didn't have to be from the Knicks. Someone at the Bucks picked up a phone and didn't treat it as simply a text machine.
You can't be putting this stuff on text. What do you mean?
I see on the television here some people are being critical in the question asking of whether Chris Jones at the end of last night's game had to show more effort chasing Trevor Lawrence. And what it made me think of, to you guys, he didn't move very much, but the swampy regions of Florida can get defensive linemen at this time of year. Do you guys remember how the Rams-Titans Super Bowl ended with the Titans being 1 yard from tying the game late? On that last drive, DeMarco Farr, inside of his own 30-yard line, just raised his hand and ran off to the sideline because he was tired. Like, Chris Jones is exhausted last night. He doesn't want to be out there anymore.
Could he be just spying?
Yeah, it looked like that was the assignment, although it's a weird guy to spy down.
He walked 4 inches.
I don't think he gets there, but he could have shown more effort.
Had a bad game, Chris Jones.
But I also understand how a defensive lineman might be tired chasing that Clydesdale around.
Got to leave it all out there, though, Dan.
Well, he did. That's why he can only take a couple of steps that play. He was still out there. DeMarco Farr, that was the last 30 yards of a season, and he couldn't. He asked out of the game. He ran to the sideline. Barely could run.
I also would have been a little confused if the quarterback was already on the ground. I'm looking at him like, all right, well, this play's surely over. I'm good. We won, right? This game's over. Instead, he got up looking like a baby horse, not a Clydesdale. If a baby horse was to score a touchdown, it would look like what Trevor Lawrence did.
I expected him to keep falling back all the way into a safety. I expected just to keep falling backwards again and again. I do not trust that quarterback and that team to not undo every single bit of talent that they have. That's it.
That's correct.
It is. Everyone listening to this believes the same thing I do.
Last game. I mean, I think it's just like watching the basketball game last night. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but that series is unbelievable. How close the first, second, third games have been by one like motivating thing, one factor that all comes in. Same as the Knights, they came in really motivated. Now I think we'll see what happens down in
Do you think
Florida.
Game 3 was rigged though? Because we have some
Game rigged.
Yeah, like the officials rigged it.
Rigged.
You mean the basketball game last night?
Yeah, very clearly.
Oh, everything's rigged in sports.
thank
Yeah,
you.
the whole thing was rigged.
Guys, what are we doing?
He knows what he's talking about. Does when Wayne Newton speaks to you, do his teeth
When Wayne-
whistle?
He doesn't. Yes.
They look like they whistle.
He said yes. He said yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say, he never speaks. What am I talking? He never speaks to me. What are you, crazy? He's never spoken to me. There's no eye contact. No eye contact.
I got to be honest, though. It seems to us, honestly, and I don't know if the Vegas has gotten to you, the vanity.
Teeth whistle. Yeah. That's the ref. They just look at Wayne.
Jay Leno and Noise Letterman with a sandwich for laughs.
So honestly, thrilled to be doing this with you because I have admired your work. You are just such a sculptor. You're an artist as a comedian. It's sort of the
Why? Thank you.
well, the craft of it. It's such a hard way to make a living, Jay. I don't even understand how you make a living that way. I really don't. You have to be demented to choose. You know what? I'm going to laugh my way to the top. I'm going to take the expectation of funny, and that's how I'm going to get rich. Get out of here. It's crazy.
It seems sort of second nature to me. I think it's one of those things. If it's what you like to do, it just comes. I remember when I was in college, I'm dyslexic, so I would get out of any sort of written things, and I was taking speech therapy. And I remember the professor said, now at the end of the class, each student will have to give a 20-minute talk. And people went, 20 minutes? Oh my God, I get done. I thought, I'll do it right now. I'll talk for 20 minutes. Yeah, let's do this. So it just struck me as funny.
But you could be funny in an instant? You knew that this was something...
No, not funny. I had to give a 20-minute talk. I mean, I didn't have a routine. I wasn't a comedian yet, but it just seemed natural. I mean, I always read that getting eaten by a shark and public speaking are the two things most people are afraid, that kind of stuff.
But not you, right? Like that, you didn't need attention, right? An audience just didn't scare you, right? Even though you were dyslexic, even though...
No, it didn't scare me. You know what's interesting? A lot of people don't realize, you remember the Smothers Brothers, right?
Yes.
Well, Tommy Smothers was dyslexic, and they were folk singers, but Tommy would get the songs wrong. Michael, boat the row is short. No, it's row the what? And they made it part of their act. And that's kind of how they became a sort of funny comedy singing team,
How do you watch stand-up comics? Because I imagine you are watching not just to laugh, but to see where the comic's insecure, where the comic looks off stage or looks at his feet. I imagine...
No, not really. I watch it just to enjoy it. I like comedy. I enjoy watching comedians. You have to be careful when you're a comedian because someone does a joke and then you realize you never want to be on stage and that subject comes up and your mind immediately goes to that person. So you have to be careful not to try and take somebody else's material. That's sort of the biggest trick. A lot of times you don't want to watch comedians do a routine on a particular subject because if you're developing something along the same line, now you can't do yours because it's too close to theirs or whatever it might be. But no, I watch it. It's like I like to make love, but I don't want to be a gynecologist. You know what I mean? So I enjoy it just being, just being around it and being with comics. It's always fun.
you came up through the pipeline of where stand-up comedy was born, right? Like, I mean, you're almost at the roots, Jay. I mean, I don't know if it's Pryor and Carlin, but coming up through the LA comedy circuit, coming up through the comedians, when you were writing with David Letterman for JJ Walker, right? Like coming up through the Comedy Store, can you take me through the path of what you imagined your career was going to be and how it is that you arrived in? Like, I can't even imagine getting from there to the Tonight Show.
Well, I'm a huge believer in low self-esteem. I think it's the key to success. If you don't think you're the smartest person in the room, you're more likely to listen and pay attention. I mean, when I was doing the Tonight Show, I constantly meet people who were geniuses. People say, my client is a genius, but the people at the network were afraid he'd be too good. I get that all the time. Or I get comedians who auditioned for the Tonight Show, and they didn't quite have them. They were close, and their agent would say, you're scared because if my client kills, he could take your job.
Do you think I could talk to you on camera real quick?
For what?
It's for the Dan Le Batard Show. It's a segment called Off-Roading.
The Dan Patrick Show?
No, Dan Le Batard. So it's who? It's in Miami. He's a guy, and you might know his dad, Poppy.
I'm kind of worried about my digital footprint. I'm gonna have to pass on this one.
I'm just gonna ask you questions about the game. I don't want to talk to you about the game. Fine, jeez. Hey Dan, it's me, Lucy. We're here today at the Notre Dame-Boise State game, and I can't wait to talk to some fans about game day. You're gonna have a good time and get what the vibe is like on campus. How did I do?
Today is my first time at a Notre Dame game. What do I need to know? What do I need to be prepared for?
You need to know that you're about to have like the best day of your entire life.
It's the most magical experience you can ever have.
Is it magical because of the leprechauns?
There's only a few teams in the world that, God's rooting for.
Things go wrong. Do you also blame God for that or no?
No, because it's all part of the journey. We're all in destiny here, and, eventually we're going to get another championship.
What is your favorite tradition?
My favorite one has to be when we score a touchdown. They put somebody up, and you have to do the amount of push-ups that we have scored points.
Have you been the touchdown person before?
I have, but I saved it for the playoff game in Miami, and we did win that game, so I feel like I can't go back up again until, playoff season.
Okay. It hasn't happened to me before. I've never been lifted in the air by complete strangers. It's definitely better to be lifted than to lift, I can tell. He was stressed I was going to float away like a feather in the air because I'm so skinny.
Everyone knows about Touchdown Jesus, right? We also have First Down Moses, which is a statue of Moses going like this, like a first down. But every year on Halloween, someone puts a tiny little pumpkin on his finger. How cute is that? And spooky. One time when I was a student, I was walking past the statue of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph Joseph has his hand outstretched and there was a hot dog in his hand, and I thought, oh, that must be a thing, like it's the hot dog Jesus statue. And then 10 years later I was explaining it to one of my friends and they were like, that's not a thing, you just walked past it once when there was a hot dog there. So now this is my petition to dub that statue Hot Dog Jesus.
Can you describe what it's like to see Marcus Freeman on the sideline ever again?
It is like a spiritual experience to see him and appreciate him for all he is. We need Marcus Freeman to run like a clinic for men.
I'm just going to say it. They're respectful young ladies. He's so hot.
You three are seniors. This is CJ Carr's first season starting as the quarterback at Notre Dame. How bummed are you that you will not be students to watch what will be the inevitable 2026 Heisman campaign?
I'm so bummed. So I have a philosophy class with CJ Carr, so I get to talk to him every Monday and Wednesday. He is the nicest guy that you've ever met in your entire life.
What does the CJ stand for in CJ Carr?
Chris? No, it's got to be a long name, right?
I'll tell you, it's Curtis Jason.
Curtis Jason, all right.
Now you can call him Curtis in your philosophy class.
Do you have a message for USC? They're not trying to play this game anymore.
Still enjoy the rivalry on the West Coast, and we'll keep it on as long as they're willing to, and we're happy to kick their ass.
That's the road to the playoffs. We're going to make it. A couple teams are going to lose. We're going to win a couple games.
But they don't want to play Notre Dame anymore.
They don't. They're sad. They're sorry.
Sounds like you're afraid.
You don't want the smoke?
Well, it is the University of Scared Children, so that's consistent with their name and how they actually play on the field, in my experience.
Could not have said it better myself. Thank you, Ryan Harris. Today is the Irish wear green game. Everyone is in green. And do you think that Notre Dame did this to give Boise State fans a taste of their own medicine, watching a team play wearing green on green turf?
Oh, I think it's fine. I like the green on green. It's a cool color.
Cool. Thank you.
We are all from Boise, and we are all rooting for Notre Dame.
Okay.
We love Boise State. We would
Not
vote for,
today.
we would root for them any other day. But we got a child that just started here, a freshman girl.
that's exciting.
So we are all new Notre Dame fans.
Okay, Lucy, we took a tour of campus. You've talked to some fans. What are your thoughts so far?
This is top 5 most beautiful campus we've ever seen. It's beautiful. I don't go to church very often, but those churches were really nice. I would go more.
Well, now you have to give us your top 5.
Number 5, OLI, Iowa, because I went there. Or OLI, Iowa. Number 5, I like Clemson's campus. We'll go Clemson 5. Number 4, Auburn. Beautiful campus. South Carolina's actual campus. Beautiful. So that was 3. 2, Notre Dame. What? And number 1, deep cut. We've never been here, but Wake Forest is the most beautiful campus I've ever seen. I'm about to go in. What should I be expecting?
Come one, come all, and enjoy this experience because it's steeped in Catholic tradition. And if you need your mind, your soul, and your heart refreshed, and you want to watch some great football, you come to the right place.
That was motivational as hell. This trip to the Bend was brought to you by the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app and use code Lucy for $20 off your first order. Terms apply. Hey Dan, it's me, Jessica. Let me say this was the most fun I've ever had in my life. I love working with Lucy. She is maybe the most talented person that works at this company, and I'm just going to say it, one of the prettiest as well. This was so much fun. I would say it would be awesome if me, Jessica, could go to every game with Lucy for the rest of time. Thank you.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju at Le Batard Show. Did you have God rooting for a 2-loss team in October? Lucy, thank you for joining us. Why are the vibes so much different around 2-loss Notre Dame than they are around 2-loss Penn State? Is it just because Marcus Freeman is beautiful and, as that man said, the nicest guy in the world?
He is beautiful. Well, I think you just have to take a look at like the quality of losses. Texas, Penn State, UNC, they don't have wins over Power 5 teams. So like when your 2 losses are against Miami, which might be the best team in the country, and Texas A&M, which is also one of the best teams in the country, and they were close losses, like you didn't get blown out, you probably don't feel that bad. Also, if you look ahead at Notre Dame's schedule, there's not a ton of meat left on there. There's the USC game, and that's about it. So like they're not in this super terrible position. They're not in a great position, because like you don't have this is kind of the one time I think being in not in a conference hurts them, because you don't have the chance for a conference championship game to, sort of solidify your spot. But like the vibes are fine with Notre Dame. I'm not worried about it. Their defense has looked a little bit better the last 2 weeks. Their offense is really good. CJ Carr has been great so far. So like vibes are good.
What about Texas, though? What did you make of them going to Florida and looking like that?
Yeah, Texas is a bad football team. They dropped out of the poll this week, as they should have. Arch Manning was their leading rusher with 15 carries and 37 yards. Outside of Arch Manning, they had 15 yards on the ground. Like, their offense is completely one-dimensional. And I think Arch is a problem. Like, I think he loves throwing into double coverage. It's like his favorite thing to do, and I'm not quite sure why. But I don't think he's actually, like, the main issue there. He was sacked 6 times. They cannot run the ball. Their offense is completely stagnant. I still think their defense is pretty good, but, like, what do you mean you're playing Florida and you're not forcing DJ Lagway into these tough situations? Like, he had 5 turnovers against LSU, 5 interceptions. Like, you should have been able, with the quality of your defense, to put him in a more uncomfortable situation. But like, that offense is a real concern. And like, what do you mean they have no run game? They aren't even trying to run the ball. It is very concerning, especially when you're like, aren't you supposed to be an like offensive genius, Steve? Isn't that like your whole
bad football team though? You're saying Texas is bad.
I won't say bad, but they're certainly not good. Like, I don't think they're a top 25 team. I don't think they are, like, in the realm where they're going to be competing for the SEC or the playoff at this point. And, like, I just think they're so one-dimensional on offense. And I might even go as far as to say they're not even one-dimensional, because Arch has these great moments, but outside of that, you're still like, hey, I kind of want more. And it's a decision that I don't think they'll ever bench him, because, like, financially, that's just kind of something crazy to do. I just think that, like, they went out and they recruited really well. They had the top recruiting class in the country coming into this year. you didn't do what you needed to do in the portal when it came to your offensive line, and it shows. Arch was sacked 6 times this game. You have no run game whatsoever, and it was just like you abandoned this like core principle of what would have made your football team very good, which is something that Texas has done over the last few years. Like their offensive line was good last year, but if you look at the last like 5 years of Sark, like that has consistently sort of been a problem where like you have talent, obviously you're Texas, but like that offensive line just hasn't been like what it takes to go to the playoff, win the SEC, with the exception of the last like 2 years.
One of the things that's super stupid about these polls is that if I put Texas Tech, if I made everything else the same and put Texas Tech in either Texas uniforms, Ohio State uniforms, Penn State uniforms, Texas Tech would be in the top 3, would they not? Just based on what they've shown you this season.
Yeah, based on vibes, they're like super fun. I know that Utah isn't ranked anymore, but that Utah win was really impressive. And like what Texas Tech is doing really well is they're winning the games they should, and they're like kicking ass in the process. Like they're not messing around against Houston. They're going out and they're taking care of business. I think it hurts them that one, they're Texas Tech, where like you obviously don't have the benefit of being a blue blood, and you're in the Big 12, which is just kind of a giant like weird little cesspool right now, where you sort of had Iowa State. They lost this weekend. They were one of 3 top 15 teams to lose. They lost to Cincinnati on the road. And so there just really isn't enough in the Big 12 to sort of give Texas Tech that support to make them, considered a top 3 team. But honestly, does it really matter? Because one, I hate the AP poll and it's stupid and it's made up and I disagree with it entirely all the time. But like you have a 12-team playoff right now, which I think this year is so interesting because like, can we name 12 like really good teams?
Well, this is the problem with what Mike's saying. Mike's saying that Penn State can erase that loss to UCLA, which is a loss no team like that has ever had against an 0-4 team with just a win against Ohio State.
No, I don't think that is. I think that loss was bad enough that it won't, if they beat Ohio, so Penn State's next 4 games are Northwestern, which they have the same record as right now, Iowa, Indiana, and Ohio State. They would have to beat all 4 of those teams. Because if you beat Indiana and Ohio State, I think that's enough. But even just beating Ohio State with that loss to UCLA, which we cannot emphasize enough, there is a top 10 team has not lost to a 0-4 team in 40 years. It's the first time that's happened. This is one of the worst losses in modern college football history. If you watch the broadcast, you heard it a million times. UCLA had not had a lead the entire season. There was not 1 minute this entire college football season where UCLA was up until they
played
Penn
New
State.
Mexico and lost by 25 at home to New Mexico.
Yeah, they got destroyed by them. But I disagree. Lucy, I have to disagree with you. We've seen in this small sample, like Alabama had a bad loss last year. They got themselves back into that conversation. The system is just so geared for Big Ten teams. If they go 3-0 headed into that Ohio State game, they're probably going to be right there in the teens with an opportunity to play themselves in the CFP. That's what the system is.
I disagree because Oklahoma and UCLA are very different. Oklahoma is a team that has, there's some power with that name. Even if they were bad last year, it's still Oklahoma. They're still the talent. It was such a disgusting loss. Like, I truly did not think UCLA would win a game this season. They were such a bad football team. And I think, one, we're giving this a lot of, hypothetical credit. Like, if James Franklin can't beat UCLA, what's going to finally turn it around against Ohio State for him? I don't think it would have to be winning that Indiana game and winning that Ohio State game that will put them back in the conversation. But, let's look at how the SEC is playing out right now. The SEC seems to be a lot more competitive. There's a lot of teams ranked, in the top 10, in the top 15. If it comes down to a Penn State team with a loss to UCLA or an LSU team with a loss to Ole Miss, who do you think they're going to pick?
They're just going big conferences. 12 days passed between that Oklahoma loss and Alabama getting into that college football conversation. We're all going to forget about the UCLA loss if Penn State thoroughly manhandles Indiana. And they're right there at the against Ohio State. Everyone's going to be talking that up. It's just how the system is. And
I don't think that happens at all. One, that team quit. That if you looked at that Penn State team, they just seems like their will to live had been lost. It just doesn't seem like they have anything in them anymore. That UCLA loss was so bad. You lost to an adult blonde man. We can't forget that.
With a bad hairline, with a thinning hairline, who didn't even know how to get the plays in. Did you see that detail? He wasn't even holding down the button.
He was like, I don't know how to use the headset. And you put James Franklin in hell? You put Jim Knowles in hell? Like, it was such an insanely bad loss. Like, this will go down as one of the worst losses in college football history because I know it's UCLA. Like, it doesn't really have, like, the name effect of losing to, like, a MAC school or whatever, but that is a genuinely terrible UCLA team. It is such an intense loss where, like, I know the Alabama-Oklahoma comparison, I get that. Oklahoma had won games up until that point. UCLA had not. I just don't think that this Penn State team, which this is what's so interesting about it, is because this was supposed to be the Penn State team. James Franklin told you this was the most talented team that he has ever had at Penn State, and this is what they produce. Honestly, what I'm so curious about with this one is, like, I never thought that Penn State was ever in the realm of firing James Franklin, even after that Oregon loss, even after all those Ohio State losses, because he was consistently winning 10 games a year, and he wasn't losing games like this. Losing this game, I think, is firmly pushed him into hot seat territory because this is such an insanely bad loss.
Lucy, you mentioned there might not be 12 teams that are really playoff quality, great teams. Who do you see as the worst teams that have a chance to make the playoff? The 2 loss teams, maybe even a 3 loss team?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think you could look at like half the SEC for that. I think that maybe my choice right now would be LSU because I think their defense, which they only have 1 loss on the season, I'm pretty sure. Their defense is phenomenal, but their offense is so stagnant. It is so one-dimensional. They have no run game whatsoever. And I think that they are a team that, like, there is a lot of talent there. There's a lot of, like, pomp and circumstance with it, but I just don't think they're good enough that their defense is good enough, but it won't carry them when they're on the field 45 minutes a game.
I'm going to ask something that would have seemed just the most patently ridiculous thing that could be said about football about 10 years ago. But you mentioned James Franklin on the hot seat. North Carolina, among offenses in football, is 128th of 135 offenses. Is Bill Belichick, 5 games in at North Carolina, on the hot seat?
I feel like he has to be. His buyout is like $30 million, I think. I was reading up on it this morning. Up until like December 2027, UNC would have to pay him out the remainder of his contract. That is a terrible football team. Like, there's not one bright spot. There's not one good moment. And I understand that it's obviously a transitional year, but like
that
Clemson
first drive of the season. That when Skip Bayless said that, and Colin Cowherd said that they were going to be coached better than any team has ever been coached.
It's like remarkable. I knew they were going to be bad. There was never a question where they were going to be bad. I think Bill Belichick kind of came in with this sort of idea that this is so easy. I'm going to go coach in college football, where you don't realize it's the stupidest sport in the world. It's very difficult to be a good head coach here. But I'm going to come into college football. It's going to be really easy. I'm going to prove that I'm such a great X and O guy, and I'm going to get a job in the NFL. That's why if he wants to leave, he only has to pay $1 million if he wants to go take an NFL job. That hasn't happened at all. They did have a top 10 transfer portal class. Like, they did have like a level of talent coming in. It's just very clear that is just like, that is a like dead football team. There is no life. There is nothing good happening there. I was reading up this morning about like, and you have all these outside stuff. You have the stuff with his girlfriend. You have the stuff with that UNC is not allowed to like mention the Patriots at all, even though obviously Drake May went to UNC, and it's this whole weird thing going on. Like, parents aren't allowed to contact Bill Belichick. Players don't have phone numbers of their coaches because it's just such a weird thing. Like, the vibes are completely off. And you have a very terrible football team in front of you, and you just simply don't know what to do. UNC is another team where if they don't win another game, it wouldn't shock me.
I have something that shocked me today, which is Jeremy came in here with a question I have not heard. I haven't heard for too long some trope about, has Travis Kelce been ruined by Taylor Swift? But I think Jeremy turning on Taylor Swift suggests that perhaps Taylor Swift has been ruined by Travis Kelce.
Look, I'm certainly not saying that Travis Kelce's causing this. I'm just saying that Taylor Swift album is not good. It's not good. Taylor Swift's album is bad.
Wow.
In fact.
Elizabeth Taylor. I like Elizabeth Taylor.
That's because you're trying to convince yourself you like something. These songs are trite. Wow. The lyrics are elementary.
What about Wood?
Kiss your mother with that mouth?
I mean, Wood. Come on, Dan. And Taylor Swift trying to get into the Sabrina Carpenter game of witty comedic lyrics, just sort of punching down almost, going down to a level at which she's not supposed to be. She's supposed to be an eloquent lyricist, Dan. And from everything I heard on this record, not only were the lyrics kind of, again, trite, but the music was boring. You're going to make a whole big deal about going back to Max Martin and, oh man, Max Martin and Shellback are going to create these big bangers
Roy,
with me
give
again.
me the music
That's
for
it.
Lucy's Internet Minute, please.
Okay, so as Jeremy said, I'm not a Swiftie, so like I was not really looking forward to this album drop, but I paid attention to the lyrics, I listened a little bit, and the premise of this album was Taylor Swift being like, hey, I have sex. Just so you guys know, I do it. I have sex with my hot football boyfriend. And then it was also her like bullying Charlie XCX, which I don't really understand that much, but she like was writing diss tracks in this. She was like, it was like very... You know, the best way I can describe it, which I know this isn't going to hit with you guys, but it definitely would hit with Jeremy, it's when people used to draw mustaches on their finger and they'd be like, that's the energy of this album.
That's
It's like
exactly right.
Thank you. I knew you would.
Yeah. Do you remember
a really great place?
Remember the people that got those tattoos thinking that would be a thing like forever, and now they just have dumb mustaches on their fingers?
It is so stupid, and that is like the entire energy of this album. It is very just like... I don't even know how to describe it, and like I'm not a big fan of her music. I don't think she's like a lyrical genius, but I did write down the lyrics to Woods because I think they're interesting.
Is that the one? Is that the one
Yeah,
about
cool.
Travis's?
Yeah, it's about Travis Kelce. Greg, I was hoping you could read them because I don't feel comfortable doing it.
All right, Dad.
Absolutely. Forgive me. It sounds cocky. He amatized me and
Why don't you
opened
sing
my
a little
eyes.
bit? Put it in like, sing it a little.
Yeah, a little.
I've never heard
But
the
just
song.
as if
I don't know
make it up.
just
It's
make it
like
up.
King of the Road, kind of.
Yeah, do it in that cadence.
King of the Road.
Yeah, do it in that cadence.
Yeah, it's like
You're
that.
familiar with the cadence.
Yeah,
Come on,
exactly.
trailer.
Just turn
That's
it
your
into a
key.
song.
You need a
Forgive
key?
me, it sounds cocky. He amatized me and opened my eyes. Redwood tree, it ain't hard to see. His love was the key that opened my thighs.
Oh.
Girls, I don't need to catch the bouquet to know a hard rock is on the way. And baby, I'll admit I've been a little superstitious. The curse on me was broken by your magic wand. Seems to me that you and me, we make our own luck. New heights of manhood. I ain't got a knock on wood.
I mean, she name-dropped a podcast in her lyrics.
New
Taylor
Heights.
Swift.
New Heights.
Taylor Swift, the greatest songsmith of her generation, dropping a podcast name and talking about being dickmatized.
You being out on Taylor Swift is the shock of the day.
Or maybe
it
don't spend your entire time just being a business and mass-producing music just to do it and putting 4 CDs out there with alternate tracks just to make money and grift off of your audience. Like, it's enough. You're just going to be a big business. Do something creative.
You sound jealous.
I can't believe where I am in the world where Greg Cody, on the same day, Greg Cody's out on the Dolphins and Jeremy's out on Taylor Swift.
Wild.
Shocking.
Crazy.
What's more shocking? Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show.
Greg.
More shocking, Greg being out on the Dolphins, Jeremy being out on Taylor Swift. Any other lyrics from Wood you'd like to read for us because Lucy's too afraid to read the lyrics?
Those were the highlights. I mean, open my thighs. Come on. Not very
Whoa,
subtle.
that's
Not
the
very
lyric?
subtle there, Taylor. Not very subtle.
Lucy, the leaves are turning. Who's your leader in the Heisman house for October?
Man, the Heisman is weird right now, right? Like, I don't know. Dante Moore is what I thought was the favorite at the moment. I'm fine with that. Mike, you're gonna love my answer. If we're just doing funsies, if we're just doing best player in college football, you should give it to Ruben Bay.
Oh!
Yeah!
You got Lucy
11
over there.
pressure.
Oh, my God.
Come on, Luce. All right.
He's so fun to watch. He's just like football. That's what he is. He's just football. And so this Heisman year is weird because like we don't really have a favorite at this point. Club Nick, Arch Manning, Garrett Nussmeier have all been disappointing. I think Jeremiah Smith's the best player in college football, but I think Ruben Bain's the most fun. So
Cristobal has to stop playing him 80 snaps a game. That's asinine.
It's wild.
It's asinine.
I love it though. I'm like, yes, give me all the Ruben Bain.
Thank you, Lucy. Good talking to you.
Hold on, actually, before you go, Lucy, we gave my dad another Taylor Swift song.
I'm not reading this.
Come on,
Come
Dad.
on.
This was a very hypersexual album.
Okay, this
Everyone-
is not a Taylor Swift
Yes,
lyric.
it is.
That's from the new album.
No,
The new
it
album
cannot be.
is
She
very
covered it.
sexual.
She
Here,
covered
I'll
it.
do it if you refuse.
No,
Come on.
Just make some noises if you want, Greg.
It's in the
fine.
cadence
You don't have
of-
to say the words.
King of the Road.
All right, let's go.
King of the Road, yeah.
Take it for a walk.
All right, do I bleep myself?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, if you
yeah.
have to.
Yeah, you can go bleep yourself.
All you ladies, pop yo bleep like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. All you ladies, pop your bleep like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. Just do it, do it, do it, do it, do it now. That's enough.
Yeah, that's the
As a
big
matter of fact, that's
Julia.
too much.
Not enough.
Thank you, Greg, for participating. Thank you, Lucy. Where are you off to this week?
We're going to Auburn. I'm very excited. Auburn, Georgia. I heard it's very fun there. We're going to get lemonade. That's what they have there, lemonade.
Oh, there, huh?
These are not Taylor Swift lyrics. You guys tricked Greg Cody. Hey, you got to put your neck into it. Don't stop, just do it, then roll your tongue. This is not Taylor Swift. She would never do such a thing. Is anyone saying that Travis Kelce has ruined Taylor Swift? Is anyone because
Jeremy said it.
Nope, not me. I'm the last person to say that. I'll just say she ruined herself.
Why are you pointing at Jeremy, Mike?
He did that.
Because it was Billy.
Well, I mean, Jeremy, you being out on Taylor Swift, we can move on from this, but I really didn't believe that she could do something so poorly that you would turn on her. I have not heard a whole lot of people publicly turning on what is the most commercially successful artist there is.
It's the commercial, Dan. It's the fact that these last few albums, you had to almost look. There were some good songs on Midnights, and there were some decent songs on Tortured Poets Department, the last two albums. But there was a lot of like needing to convince yourself that these were hits. There was a lot of, all right, well, once I give it another listen, I'll grow to like it. Once it's all over the radio, it'll be great. Once I hear it, that hook once again, it'll get stuck in my head. That's not what it's supposed to be with Taylor Swift, Dan. You're supposed to be able to listen to the music and enjoy it right away. And you're supposed to be able to listen to the lyrics and think that they're top tier right away. And it just feels, and I've been talking about this for a little while, that this mass production of music, the need to release a new album every year, the need to have individual CD and tape and bonus record sales every time that another female artist is climbing in the charts. It's, hey, let me release a new version of this so that I can make sure I'm not unseated from the charts.
Get the vinyl exclusively at Target.
Right. It's just, you're a billionaire. You don't need to be playing the victim within your lyrics anymore. Like, evolve. And there was such an evolution with Folklore and even Evermore and the songwriting that to have these steps backwards, particularly with this record, be happy. You can be happy. Make bangers. That's what you're here to do, right?
Jeremy, have the critics agreed with you, or has it been favorably received? I don't know.
It's mixed. There are some critics that have come out and listened to the album and wrote non-favorable reviews. It was interesting that Rolling Stone at midnight, the moment it was released, had 100 out of 100 rating for it. I wonder how that happens. To me, it just seems like it's okay to have a miss. If Taylor comes back with something innovative the next time around, I can be one back, no different than I'm sure their other fans are. But even Swifties, like real Swifties on the internet, are like, how are we supposed to continue to defend this? A lot of these songs sound like the songs that people make to make fun of Taylor Swift.
There's also, people that put out videos where 3 or 4 of the songs sound like songs by other people.
Oh, there's a song that completely rips off a Jonas Brothers song. A Jonas Brothers song.
I saw Luis Miguel.
Come on.
It's hard to remain popular commercially for a long time, and usually the way that people remain popular commercially is by staying commercial. Rare is the Kendrick Lamar that gets to be somebody who becomes a mainstream alternative without becoming commercial. Like how is she going to have?
He did have the biggest song of the year last year.
No, I know, but I'm saying that it's rare. It's rare that someone gets to stay authentic without being accused of selling out as you keep making stuff because you have to keep the machine going and keep money going. The Chiefs last night fall to 2-3, but play the kind of game, I think, that most people would look at and say, well, if they're that, I believe they'll beat most teams in the league. The news we have not gotten to today, I'm going to put news in quotes. LeBron James yesterday had everyone feeling like, and this part, I love that Phillies-Dodgers game so much. I love that ninth inning. There was so much cool baseball stuff in that ninth inning.
I watched. It had the sound, Dan. I'm in. Hardball.
Castellanos' slide, that swing at the end on a bad pitch where he makes it to second, but then the Dodgers erase him by playing such simplified baseball with a wheel play that you just hardly ever see work in the biggest spot, where they get Castellanos at third because they don't pinch run for him because they want to keep him in the game and he's a little slow. And the difference between him being safe at second and him being out at third is and a play at the plate. Like these seasons are swinging on inches that are super interesting, but when LeBron James tweets out something cryptic, did you guys immediately think it was an ad or a play for commercial success, since we're speaking about how it is that people become less popular or cornier? I lived long enough to see Michael Jordan be someone people were making fun of for his dad genes. LeBron's the oldest player in the league. There's some dad corniness there while still being great and still being popular. How did you guys receive immediately the news that he was tweeting cryptically that seemed like it might be for an advertisement today?
Well, a lot of the instant reaction was, is he retiring? Is he hinting that he's going to retire? But LeBron's done this for years now. I think as he ages and his epic career ebbs, he's getting more and more hungry for attention, to be honest with you. I think he'll do anything to be the center of attention, as he's now barely hanging on to the top 10 in NBA's best players.
Did you guys actually think anyone actually think he was retiring?
I thought that there would be news coming. Yes, I got fooled by it.
How do you think he's going to announce it when he actually does?
He'll say it the year before, kind of like this. This is my last run.
Yeah, I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility that it could be a corporate-sponsored retirement announcement, because I do think, to the point made back here, is, I think LeBron's the kind of guy that wants a year-long goodbye.
Sure. Yeah.
So he's definitely going to announce it ahead of time. It would be really surprising if he just goes quietly into the
Rob
night.
Pelinka, the general manager of the Lakers, said something I found surprising in that he put his name on LeBron will get to retire however he wants. He has earned that. Now, I heard the Crafts say that, too, of Tom Brady, and then they ran him out of town. So I don't know that the words mean very much. But Pelinka did say he gets to do it his way. Are you guys expecting an announcement today that is LeBron is going to retire at the end of this year, brought to you by Amazon Prime? Is that what you guys are expecting?
I would handicap that at like plus 400. I think the clubhouse leader right now is this is just some kind of Amazon tie-in. And that's not my own guess. That's just me reading what's on social media where people feel very strongly about this. I did find it curious, though, to see him wearing like the red and white checkered shirt again. And, we can now lean into the decision. This is something that we reflect back on. It's like, hey, remember that when he was just destroyed for doing that thing. I can't believe that he is at the point now where he's like, let me tap back into that and let's have fun with it.
What is the cost of being lame in popular culture? I'm asking you guys seriously. Like being someone who's...
Ask Dwight Howard.
If it's this craven, if it's indeed either sponsoring his retirement announcement or just teasing you because we know that the greatest currency today is... how do I get more attention? We were talking about this yesterday as it related to Michael Irvin and Deion Sanders and Last Acts. When you've spent 30 years being someone who knows exactly how to get attention, craves it, feeds off it, and needs it as nourishment at the end, because it seems to me ridiculous what you guys are claiming, that people like Aaron Rodgers and LeBron James would need yet more attention than all the attention they've already gotten.
My question is, who's the other guy in this video? Yes. Because if this was serious, he He would have gotten a journalist to do it like he did the first time with Jim Gray. Like, I have no idea who this guy is.
I don't know either.
It looks like Richard Jefferson from here, but I'm looking at it from a great distance here, so I don't know who. No, that's not Richard
that's not
Jefferson.
him. Wow, why is he sitting down with James Franklin? That's curious.
Is that Ben Kingsley? I can't tell. Some
I
bald
like that.
people. Some bald.
That's a good profile.
I like that. Mixing it up so we can't be accused of stereotyping here.
Corey Brooker?
Corey Booker!
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Great guess. Maybe he's going into politics.
There you go.
So you guys think this is just going to be something lame? Does it cost him anything to be this person?
Dude, did you see that Nike commercial that he had? Bill Simmons posted it out there, and he's like, man, this is pretty cringy. And I watched it. I'm like, wow, this is really cringy. The things that he's saying and still playing some of the same notes. Like, you did it. It's like Jeffrey Bezos. You did it. LeBron, you did it. You don't need to keep scoring points a little bit. And to your earlier point about, like, what does being corny cost you? Man, I know his play has done a lot with it, but if Russell Wilson was just a little bit more chill in the latter stage of his career and didn't have these videos that just made him seem like culturally off.
Well, let me for a moment talk about sort of the importance of marketing and brand management and the way that Tom Brady and Derek Jeter and Michael Jordan did what they did. Michael Jordan, most specifically, he had such a giant creative marketing arm around him that could get Spike Lee to do the commercials that he never became lame because we didn't have all this access to him that we have for what is America's greatest internet athlete. Like LeBron James, we've had too much access to him, and so invariably he's going to age right in front of us if it's not all being done by Spike Lee and an economy of marketers who know exactly how to do this. I don't know where Wyman and Kennedy went, but ESPN's popularity dropped immediately when they stopped doing the commercials because of how important it is to craft this stuff around economies that are already popular in a way that has so much touch and grace in it that you don't see the lameness because it's a note off, because it's so craven. And the way Michael Jordan specifically did it with Nike and with marketing arms that made sure, Michael, just don't say anything. We'll do it all. Just stand in the commercials and be cool and don't wear the dad jeans. We'll do everything to make sure that the people never get tired of how cool you are. We have too much access, and to this person, we've had too much access, and he spent the last 10 years with so much power that no one can tell him anything about how things look. He's going to make his own choices. There's no way that anything happens that LeBron's not totally good with. And I understand why LeBron would treat his people very well and trust his people very well, because to date they've done well by him in terms of making sure that he stays publicly relevant.
I think LeBron has asbestos to all of that at this point. He is his own brand. I think the brand management is brilliant, and he's bigger than whatever the outside opinions are.
Asbestos?
I don't think that's how you use that word for the second time today.
No,
asbestos?
Asbestos means you have insulation against the flames.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So
I guess you're right.
But it makes you sick.
Well, thank
He's
you.
a writer.
But yeah, I mean, different connotation. Proceed.
Okay, but what I'm getting at is a lot of people thought he hit an off key by alluding to the decision 2, because the decision 1 was really criticized nationally. He doesn't care. I think he's self-deprecating in a way that's good, and I would use as an example the TV commercials he does with Kevin Hart, where one of them says Kevin Hart is saying to him, they want somebody who can run the 40, not somebody who is 40. And it's funny, and it's playing on his age and the fact that he's at the end of his career. I think everything he does is good. I think he's not beyond criticism, but beyond it affecting him in any way.
Everything he does is good? Everything he does is good.
LeBron James has had very close to an impeccable career, in my opinion. Okay, he has not been sullied by any significant controversy. I think he's been.
I have an idea.
I think he's
one
been
big one.
What was it?
China.
Space Jam 2?
Well, okay, China. If we're going to go to China, then we implicate the entire NBA. Okay, if we want to do that, let's get everybody.
Please.
With DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code DAN. That's code DAN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.